sun obeys. The fire will be sailed.
I do not fear the fire. It is mine to shape.
Greetings exiles and foodies, and welcome to my first update for PoE2. Today I want to give you all, I'm not going to call this a build guide because I have only hit maps by now and completed 2 out of 10. And I am only level 67. So there's a long way before I can call this a build guide. So let's call it a concept instead. I am running a Giant's Blood Resolute technique, big boy slams, and a shield to help me mitigate a ton of damage. The build itself, I went for the Titan Ascendancy due to the hulking form passive node. That's it. This is the thing I wanted. And the reason why is actually a bit disappointing because of course there's all the nodes that give more fizz, more chance for a aftershock down here and everything in between. But the small passive nodes right here, the +5 strength, does not upgrade into a 7 or a 8. Which is a bit disappointing. Because the thing with Giant's Blood is, if I just zoom in here, it triples the attribute requirement for weapons.
What the fuck?
Now you're thinking, okay, but you have picked up nearly every strength node on the tree. What more could you want? Let me tell you, right now, this little thing requires 330 strength for level 48 item. And right now I'm sitting at 395, still hoping to improve quite a bit. But I would need upwards of around 500 to 550 strength for the top end maces to be able to even equip them. I know there's a lot to get on the gear, but I'm kind of starved on the travel nodes, and I even picked up all the extra nodes around this beef, and I picked up this node down here for the 18, 18 and 18 strength. And now it led to the possibility of picking up the brute strength, which is 1% damage per 15 strength as we are stacking. So there are some synergies there that you can make, and of course I can rearrange these as I no longer need 10 decks for some equipment. But that's about for the build. I'm picking up some rage nodes now, as there's a few gems that consume rages. So let's see the Infernal Cry for instance here. With Enraged Warcry, supported Warcries consume up to 10 rage, causing attacks empowered by them to deal more damage. And the same goes here, as we're already using Premeditation. We are already getting a ton of more damage whenever we use the Infernal Cry, and together with the node hulking form and the nodes here, empowered attack deal 24%, and the nodes down here with more empowered attacks nodes that increase it by 24. We have a near 100% increased together with the 2 more multipliers whenever we use Infernal Cry. I picked up the Vocal Empowerment, so I can actually use 2 Warcries, or sorry, 2 slams before I have to press Warcry again. Now you could go up and get some cooldown recovery for your Warcry, like this one. Admonisher, I'm most likely gonna get that at a point because that would help a ton with just making sure it's up all the time. But I don't feel I need it, to be exact, because the slams are so slow already that it's so. I'm making do without. The dodge roll, I hate it, so I picked up Unwavering Stance, and next to that, I hate it whenever I get stunned midway of a slam because they are so slow. So this really helps out with that one. And then I've linked in a Sunder for clearing with Unbreakable, Fire Infusion, and whatever this name is. Mace Strike with Impact Shockwave, Lacerate, Rage, Culling. We have Resonating Shield that I'm not really using. Infernal Cry with the Premeditation, Raging Cry. Enraged Warcry, you can just skip 10 seconds ahead if you don't want to see everything. Window of Opportunity, Close Combat and Searing Flame for the perfect strike, because the perfect strike always ignite whenever you hit with it. And with the always ignite, this Searing Flame is making those ignite just burn them from like bosses from 60 to like down to 20%. It's absolutely amazing. And of course you got Hammer of Gods, because why not? It's a Fist of War boosted, Brutality and Heavy Swings, just to boost that fist damage up as high as humanly possible. Leap Slam with some overpower, Martial Tempo and Momentum, Hero Advantage with Magnitude, and Time of Need with less duration, so we trigger it more often. And then we got Overwhelming Presence with Vitality and Cannibalism, and Overwhelming Presence basically does we stun faster. That's it, basically. And that's it for the build. I'm pretty average in my gear. I'm still upgrading it, of course, like everybody else. And the gear is mainly just for strength gear all the way. Some plate build for the more armor. I'm using a big ass two-handed mace and a big shield with bulky armor. Now, this shield I picked up from a vendor, and then I Exalt Slammed it and got the increased block chance. So there's a classic example of why you need to use Exalt for Slam. Like all the big streamers are telling that go craft your own gear, that's the entire point with the game. But then you look at my stash and thinking, but you have a ton of things in your stash that you could use to craft. And while that is technically correct, I want to envision this body armor I picked up for 1 Exalted. This helmet I picked up for 1 Exalted, and then I slammed on 34 fire resistance. Instead of going for RNG, we are about 5 days into the league and people are starting to sell all their gear, and so am I. I have made a dump stash tab with 1 Exalted items in it, and basically I'm just tossing every rare in for this price. Now, at this time of moment, I've sold for about 5 items worth of Exalts, and I've used that to upgrade my own gear. Because this mace, 1 Exalted. This helmet, 1 Exalted. This advanced full plate right here, 1 Exalted. I needed the spirit on this body armor to make sure I have all my armor. What's it called? Auras. I needed the cold resistance and the strength and life from this helmet. The armor, rarity, and resistances were plus. This one just gave me the required damage to push through the last acts. So instead of using all your exalts to slam gear that can become good, you can often find a 4 affix item on PoE trait that is absolute fantastic. So for instance, let's me give you an idea of boots, just to give you a quick showdown of how I would search for a new pair of boots. Now, what does my resistance say? My fire is through the roof. Okay, fair enough. I need a ton of lightning and cold resistance. So I will ignore the fire. We go in, I click the trait. I check out, okay, we need some strength, because we are Titan thing, grip, whatever. With the say, not C, we say movement speed. I want 20% as of minimum. I want it to have maximum life, because I'm greedy. There it is, if I could click it. And I want, let's just say 50. I want a buyout price of 1 Exalted. I do not want it to have evasion. So I'm just gonna put 1 energy and 1 evasion, because nothing have that low. I click enter and everything is coming up. Now there's a few things you have to be wary of. I'm level 67. This is level 59, 51. And sometimes you can find items that are higher required level. This is only for now, but you have to be wary of that. And if you do not want to risk that, you can basically go into requirements and put in your level and max. And whoop-de-doo, here we go. Now, I am most concerned about finding something with resistance. So let's see here. If I had, quotation mark, if I had a Exalt, these boots right here, or these boots up here, could actually be quite great to pick up. Now, this have room for 1 Exalt Slam. This have room for 2 Exalt Slam. Movement, max life is prefix, so it have 1 prefix modifier that it can roll and 1 suffix modifier that it can roll. Suffixes can give resistances. It already have a fire, so there's a good chance it will roll something like cold or lightning. So these could actually be very worth to pick up. Now the life and movement speed is blocked, so there's also a good chance that it will roll something like flat armor or percentage armor. Now there are a few things, and this is exactly what I'm talking about with people wanting to buy stuff. So let's just invite this guy and get it over with. Here, let's see, these are just a pair of random gloves that I've tossed in. Will he come to us? He will come to us. Perfect. He comes, we trade. This is perfect for the demonstration of the Exalt stash tab. I get an Exalt, whoop-de-doo, I'm happy. I can now use this to buy myself a better pair of boots. So yeah, that's about it for the, instead of crafting all your own gear, I would advise to do this. Now, what would I do whenever I get this full and people are not buying it always 8 days into the league, or sorry, not league, early access or something, 10 days in, and you're getting full? Well, then I would basically just take the items that's in here. If it is a rare or it has a socket. If it has a socket, I would go over to the bench. Excuse my PC lagging, don't mind that. I would go over to the bench. If it have a socket, I will use the salvage bin. Reason? The artificer shards, in my opinion, at the given moment, I have not checked the current price tags for artificers versus regal orbs or anything, but the artificers shards are more worth for me right now, so I would use the salvage bin on anything that has sockets. If it has 2, it awards 2 artificer shards. If it does not have a socket, I will either sell it for gold, depending on the price. Often, if it's a 6 modded, like you see, this one has here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will not award 2 regal shards, so I will most likely sell it if it's over a certain price tag, like 1,000 here, so I get some gold. And if it's like around 1,000 and does not have 6 modifiers, I will just sell it for a regal shard. And yeah, that's about it. And let me just show you here. Do we have a thing with 6 modifiers? 6 modifier. Do you have 6 modifiers? No, 5. 5. I could have planned this in advance, but this is a very uncut video, so bear in mind. You? No, that's a single modifier. If. Alright. But if it is a rare with 6 modifiers, oh, this one, perfect. If it has 6 modifiers, it will give 2 regal shards instead. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show. And yeah, that's my tips and tricks for the league. Set up a dump stash tab, dump in your rares whenever you start feel like you need regal or you need artificers. You can of course do it. Pick up anything with sockets in him. Can I? No, it will be destroyed. Keep. If you find sockets on the ground, they will have a little, so like if this was the name of an item, out to the right, it would have 2 little white dots. It's not very clear, but it would. But basically keep any of those and pick up all rares and you should be Gucci. If you're lacking in transmutation and augmentation, pick up blues as well and sell them. If you're lacking gold in general because you're respeccing too much because your build is trash, well, pick up blues as well because you can sell them for pretty neat sum of gold. And yeah, that's probably it for my suggestions. And of course, use these artificers on your gear, also in campaign, because these runes down here can mean a day and night different. The fire, the lightning, the cold. And then there's one of these things here, soul cores, that you can also slot in. You can slot in these soul cores, and it gives plus to all elemental resistance. It gives 5 to all elemental resistance. So how do you use it? You click it, you click your item. I take a look, what do I need the most? Lightning. Okay, I found my lightning. There it is. A shift click, get 1, and bob. Oh, my helmet now has 12 lightning resistance, and I'm a happy boy. So that's about it. So I hope this video have helped someone get a more smooth start and perhaps even a better transition into mid/mapping stage. And yeah, stay safe everyone, and see you in the next one.